Okay, I started recording. Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's great to have you here. So before we start, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Aarti Bharathan. I head product teams at PayPal. I've been at PayPal now for over 9 years, and prior to this, I was at Microsoft for several years. I've been pretty fortunate where I found my passion in product management right out of college, and I've been able to build multiple products over time, several of them V1 products, and build out um, not just products, but over time also product lines and business lines, while also learning that I love growing teams and making people on my teams highly successful. So where I am right now, I right now manage a team of over 20 brilliant product managers. They're across the globe. We partner with over 400 plus engineers and data scientists and various experts in many fields. And together, we're really bringing um, financial products to bear for customers everywhere to use.
Nice. Um, how did you find out about tech and get into it? Like,
Um, it was very fascinating. I think the first time I recall interacting with a computer was sometime in fourth grade. Um, it wasn't something that was there in everyone's home. Um, they set up what was known as a computer lab, and I think we just played a few games, learned a little bit of I think basic back then. But
oh,
what
okay.
I what I found was that if you were able to apply just logic, it worked.
Yeah.
So I found it just fascinating and easy. Um, as I went through college, um, again, I realized I had my major in computer science and engineering, but then I also realized that I liked certain parts of it more than others. Um, Networking, in particular, was one of those that it just clicked in my head. There were other friends of mine that loved databases, um, but for me, I really felt like I understood what networking was, and that kind of led to my first job when I was at Microsoft, where I was working on networking on Windows. And
So
at
what
that
exactly is networking?
What exactly is networking? Oh my goodness, yes. Well, networking is, what the geeks used to call how the internet is formed.
Yeah.
There is the networking where you mingle with people, but, the networking around how we connect over the internet, whether it's via our Ethernet cables back in the day, our Wi-Fi networks or our cellular networks. That entire space of how things work is essentially networking.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, could you describe like what you do on a day-to-day basis in your current role?
ah, so my current role, um, I actually because I now lead an organization of people, I do a variety of things. There's the most what I consider as the most important part of my job, which is really making sure that everyone on my team has a good understanding of their role, their responsibilities, and making sure that they're set up for success, unblocking any challenges that they have. So I'm generally involved in what I call as a lot of either escalations, or there might be clarification of responsibilities um, and such. Second area where I spend a lot of my time is actually making sure that we everyone on my team really understands what our goals are and whether the work that we're doing aligns with our goals and whether we are trending in the right direction, whether we need any course correction. So it's, we actually came out of a huge planning cycle. And planning basically means saying, hey, what are we going to do in the next several months?
Like,
So
how
it might,
often would you do this?
so we do a massive planning cycle annually, and then we course correct pretty much every quarter.
Okay, you can continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's really around, taking stock of what has been the customer feedback, speaking with a lot of our customer advocates, prioritizing what all of the user pain points might have been, and then, really seeing what are the biggest pain points that we need to go after, right? And then, that then comes down to, there's usually way more than we want to do than we can do. And so
Mhm.
sometimes we may also ask for additional resources. Um, it may get approved. And so there's a lot of discussion back and forth in terms of resourcing as well around this time. We also use this time to see if people want to take on different responsibilities. And so it's a good time for just reshuffling and, people stretching their arms and doing something different. Um, and now as we get into the new year, it's really making sure everyone's understanding what our new priorities are, making sure we're setting goals and milestones around how we're going to reach our goals.
Mhm. Okay, so could you tell me about a project that you've worked on? It can be like a recent one or maybe your favorite one from a while ago, maybe at Microsoft, whatever you want.
Um, Let me, pick something which was um, maybe about a decade back. So this was at PayPal. I just joined PayPal,
Mhm.
and at that time, one of the biggest reasons I love working at PayPal is because I get to work on things that people really, really value. Like we've often said that people value their family and then their money. Now, obviously, I don't do much with the family, but definitely the money is very personal. And the product that we were kicking off at that time was it's called PayPal Here, and it was about empowering everyday people to be able to take card payments. And so that meant that everyday people could now suddenly take their craft, take their service, and really be able to monetize it. Prior to that, if you wanted to sell something, if you wanted to offer your service, you would either have to take a check or you would have to request for cash. Usually there was, you know, a sense of concern that taking a check, you'd have to go and cash it. It may work out, it may not. So there was, all of this financial concern. And now suddenly we democratized how people could accept payments. It was no longer something where a very established merchant was the only person who could accept a credit card. Anyone could, and people felt safe about it. And that's important. We actually launched this product in the US, in the UK, um, in Australia, and many parts of Asia as well. And my role at that time was around uh, onboarding and acquisition of small merchants. And what I loved in this role was I got to meet so many small businesses um, day in and out. I didn't know that businesses of these natures even existed. I got to meet them in a variety of different countries. So we actually spent a bunch of time uh, in London at Richmond upon Thames, going up and down the high street, meeting so many different merchants over there. So it was just super fascinating.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about working in tech and like the tech industry in general?
It's a very fascinating question. I haven't worked in other industries, though I've
Oh
seen them
yeah.
from.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say, it's that we build things that people use every day.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very real.
And relevant, yeah. I would say that's my favorite thing too. Other people have said that they like it because it's really fast moving and it's always changing and like everything, a lot of problems can be solved using tech.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's true. I guess I haven't done anything different, so I'm like, that is how it is.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think I have one last question for you, and that's there's a lot of high school students like me that want to get into tech but don't know where to start. So, do you have any advice on like what we can do or what opportunities we can look for?
I would, so as a product manager, what
Mhm.
makes us unique is we look at who are the users, right? It's a combination of tech and, in my mind, anthropology and social studies.
Yeah.
And so um, and and so if I would say, start with people. How are people going about things? What's bothering them? Can we do something to make life easier for them? And the great thing is that tech is no longer a fringe choice anymore. It's part of everything we do.
So accessible.
Exactly, right? When I started out in tech, tech meant using a computer,
Hmm.
right? But now it's everything.
These days, even the fridges have tech.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I would say, your generation is what we call as digital natives,
Hmm.
right? You grew up with the digitalization, if you will, uh,
Yeah.
of the world, right? So really, look at where people are having problems or where there is an opportunity to make something easier, more fun, more accessible. Really, figure out where your passion is. And then think about how you're going to solve it in your space.
Hmm.
And then, get to, okay, now what do I need to do to solve it? There is going to be some tech that is going to be involved because you are digital natives. But then, use tech more as a means rather than, you know, thinking about, okay, I have tech, what can I do about it?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for talking with me today. It was really good. Um, yeah.
Absolutely. All the
Anything?
best.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I can end the recording now if that's fine.
Yes.